to continue the story where the funeral is over of all the people, those who have passed away in the war. That means you will find that there are lots of people, okay, amongst the Kauravas and the Pandavas. All the funerals are over. Everything is finished as of now. 2 Brahmastras were released. One was by Ashwatthama. If you remember in the last chapter, what we did was Ashwatthama was shorn of his hair and his crown jewel. These are the 2 things which we discussed. I gave you the spiritual significance of both these things. It's the importance of the body and the importance to the race or the place where we come from. I come from this family, I am like this, I am like that. These are certain things which everybody is bothered about in their world. Right? You will find that human beings tend to always consider that I am like this, I come from this family, I know this. These are ego. So first you remove those 2 heads, we say. First head is the physical being, that I am the body, I am this person. That means there is a parentage, there is a place where you come from, the gotras, I may be a Brahmana or whatever. All these things, we carry them as a kind of a degree. Like you say, I am a doctor. How a doctor will say, doctor so and so. So like that. So we have to remove them. So that was the first thing which got eliminated when the other Brahmastra was released. So naturally these 2 things come to a zero. And then the funeral happens. Ashwatthama is already gone. He's gone for doing his penance. Now after that, Shri Krishna says, now I have to go back to my place. So we had come up to here and we had stopped over here, and he is trying to now get into his chariot. So let us see what happens. We are doing Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 8, verse 8 onwards. So Sri Krishna seated himself in the chariot to start for Dwarka. He saw Uttara hurrying towards him in fear. The next word says, that is verse 9, Uttara said, O Lord of Lords, Lord of the universe, you are the greatest of the mystics. Please protect me. For there is no one else who can save me from the clutches of death in this world of duality. Verse 10 says, O my Lord, you are all powerful. A fiery iron arrow is coming towards me fast, my Lord. Let it burn me personally. And if you so desire, please do not let it burn and abort my embryo. Please do me this favor, my Lord. Now, here is something which happens as an aftermath. I'm sure you have seen great wars are fought amongst nations, and what is left behind once the war is finished? All the ruins, everything that is gone. But here you remember, the war is over, but the 2 Brahmastras have been released. One by Ashwatthama, who has already killed the 5 children, if you remember, of Draupadi. And on the other side, Arjuna releases a weapon which is neutralizing this other weapon. But once something is released, like if I release a nuclear weapon, do you think I can take it back? It's not possible, isn't it? If I have already shot an arrow, can I take it back? The only thing which I can do is I can destroy it midway somewhere, isn't it? Somewhere in the middle, I have to maybe take it over the ocean or something like that and destruct it. This is called self-destruction. Have you noticed that when most of these nations, when they send their, rockets in outer space, sometimes the rocket fails. So in that they will self-destruct. They have maybe a button which is a self-destruct kind of a button, which may be pushed at that time, and that particular rocket or whatever has to be destroyed mid-air or mid in space, wherever. Otherwise, it can cause mass destruction. You will find that many years ago, there was a piece of, space debris which was coming down on Earth. It created so much of a stir. And by the time it entered into the atmosphere, it was burning up. A big chunk fell in Australia and some other places. Do you remember? Maybe you must have been a kid by then. It is called the Skylab. The Skylab was a very great mystery. At least as far as I am concerned. I am an old person, so I know Skylab. But there are lots of Chinese rockets, Indian rockets that are coming back. There is a problem. So in the same way, though these arrows have been released by these two great Maharathis, Ashwatthama on one side and Arjuna on the other side, their withdrawal is not complete. It doesn't come about completely. There is an after effect which happens. Now what is this after effect? Uttara, if you remember, do you remember Uttara, who she is? Okay, now she has a very important role which we do not think it is important, but of course it's a very important role. Every person in every sphere has, even if they are just sitting over there, they have a role to play. Don't ever discount a person just because they are born over there and they are doing nothing in your house. Okay? Some people may be born just to sit in one place. Some people may be born just to eat that food, whatever that is offered to them. Some people are born to work. Some people are born for some other purpose. So here also, everybody's birth is for some reason. So Uttara is going to Sri Krishna. Sri Krishna has just got into his chariot and she goes and she pleads to him and she says, you know what? The arrow which has been released, it is very dangerous. It is coming towards me and it is going to destroy the child that is going to be born. So kindly protect this child. This is a very important statement. Okay. Now, the war of this Mahabharata is over. Now let us get to the spiritual aspect of it. The war is over. The Pandavas have won. The spiritual conquest has happened, overcoming all the Shadripuses, all the negative traits and the qualities that are there. Like lust and greed and all those. So Duryodhan, Dushasan and all those 98 other brothers have been killed. Now whereas the Pandavas have won. But if you remember, Ashwatthama is there. He is the Guru's son. He has got Abhaydan. Basically, he cannot be killed. So when they are telling Arjuna, go and chop his head. Who? Bhima and Sri Krishna is saying, go and chop his head. He doesn't and he allows him to go. But the weapon which he releases, because he is scared of Arjuna, is still there in the universe. We did everything yesterday about the two kinds of weapons. Now let us look at it from how this world moves ahead. We have to understand this. How does this universe move ahead? One very important thing I will tell you. At the end of time, when is the end of time? The last yuga, if you know. That is this Kali Yuga that is going on. Kali Yuga will end someday. And then everything goes back and then it again comes back up. So again the Krita Yuga starts. The most important thing which we should remember, everybody has this process of thinking that everything got destroyed. Do we say these words? Everything got destroyed. So the biggest question to man, which came first, the chicken or the egg? This is a very important question, or no? Like that, there is an important question, did the tree come first or the seed come first? Did the tree come first, whatever, say apple tree or whatever, or did the seed come first? So let me correct you over here and tell you what actually came first. At the end of the yuga, everything goes back inside. See, the words are very peculiar. Everything goes back inside. What? Do you see? What does it go inside? Huh? Brahmanda, Anda. It goes back to the egg. It goes back to the seed. Everything is just circling back and going back to seed. Seed is a compressed tree, isn't it? Does it carry the entire data of the tree or no? So just imagine me taking one small DNA molecule from you and creating a you. Isn't it a seed? You were born from a seed. Is that correct? From a sperm and an egg, right? So everything goes back to the seed state. So at the beginning of time, the seed comes out and it sprouts because there is water and there is land. In the same manner, if everything were to come to an end, how would propagation happen? Propagation means going ahead happen. So the seed of these Pandavas is there in the form of the child in the Uttara's womb. Do you know who the child is? See, if that child is not there, today you and I will not be sitting for the satsang. Simple understanding you should know. If the child is not there, how are we going to learn the Srimad Bhagavatam? Who is going to teach us? And why will Sukdev or why will even Sutta Goswami talk about it? It is futile, isn't it? So the saving of Uttara becomes important because the future has to be secured. So when the Lord destructs this entire universe at the end of time also, He secures it in the form of a seed which will again come back in the next Manavantara. I hope you get the whole point clear. So don't worry. If you find that there is destruction all over, from the destruction, the seed will always be germinated to create something new in this world. And it is always going to happen. Sri Krishna comes every time when this kind of a problem happens. I hope you understand what I am saying. So there is a reason why this whole thing has to be there. All right? Now, let us go back to the story once again. So, Uttara. How many people know what is the meaning of the word Uttar? Okay, so you can write it over there. So, Uttara is the wife whose child has to be the one who propagates the future. Okay, It is called, think about it. Today I am giving you satsang. Today in the morning I said to someone that, do you remember what is the meaning that I gave you? Everybody was looking blank because nobody has even bothered to write it down. Now today when you don't write down anything, do you really think there is going to be any answers remaining in the future for anybody to understand? No. When you note it down, Sai Baba's story was written down, right? Srimad Bhagavatam was written down. Everything was put in a seed. This is our memory. The retention of the long-term memory is important. It is retained in the north. North. Over here. In the form of a memory. This memory has to be revived. So the son has to be born. So now what is the meaning of the word Uttara? The northern region. And then there is a southern region also. The north is always connected to the godly planes, the worlds which are connected to the gods. The south is always supposedly to the demonic planes. You know that. By now you are very familiar with it. There are the 7 up and 7 down. We have already discussed 7 heavens and the 7 hells. So the 7 heavens, there is a memory bank which is created which retains this. So Uttara is that which needs to be retained. So what does Shri Krishna do? We will see. So verse 11, chapter 8, Canto 1, Sutta Goswami said, having patiently heard the words, Lord Shri Krishna, who is always affectionate to his devotees, could once understand that Ashwatthama, the son of Dronacharya, had thrown the Brahmastra to finish the last life in the Pandava family. The last life in the Pandava family. Nobody is supposed to destroy the seed. Isn't that true? Today when we talk of regenerative farming, what are we actually talking about? We are trying to bring back the old, isn't it? Huh? So that regenerative farming, the seeds are always there somewhere. We just have to search for them. Because Ashwatthama has always released this weapon. Okay, genetic mutation. Already there. The whole world is going through all the genetic problems that are there. Are you going through it or no? You may say, I am not going through it. Who told you that? Yesterday I saw people who are genetically modified themselves. So it was very strange to see them. Because of the food that we eat, the kind of lifestyle that we follow, we are ourselves getting modified, and our next generation of children are going to be coming out like complete duffers. Do you want that seed to continue? Where everything is genetically modified, the food that you eat, to the lifestyle that you have, everything is going to get modified. So Sri Krishna has come to remove this and say, go back to the seed. Go back to the origin. Go back to save Uttara. So what does he do? So Sutta Goswami is saying, so when Uttara said these words to Arjuna, or to Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna understood that the weapon is still in there in outer space. So this weapon has to be neutralized. So verse 12 says, O foremost among the great Munis, Shaunaka, seeing the glaring Brahmastra proceeding towards them, The Pandavas took up their 5 respective weapons. Verse 13 says, the Almighty Personality of God, Shri Krishna, having observed that a great danger was befalling his unalloyed devotees, who are fully surrendered souls, at once took up his Sudarshan chakra to protect them. Now, this is something which we need to know. You think with your power or with you taking care of yourself, you will be able to overcome the difficulties that are going to be there besotting you? Do you really think so? Sorry, you cannot. You can remove all your weapons and you can say tomorrow, okay, Guruji, I stopped eating this kind of, processed food. But processed food you have stopped eating. You might have stopped doing your exercise. You might have stopped doing everything. You could have done all these things. But the arrow is still inside of you. Who is going to destroy that? You can take as many medicines as you want. You can take all the kinds of precautions that you want. You can go, oh, there is going to be no AIDS in this world. Who said that? There is going to be no coronavirus in this world because we came up with this inoculation. Nothing like that. That thing is always going to be there. So you need divine help at that point in time. Without divine help, there is nothing to be done. Okay? Understand one thing. Human beings are frail creatures. Very, very frail creatures. They cannot sort out any of their problems on their own. You can go to any, all these marriage counselors, to psychiatrists, to the doctors, and to everybody in this world. You can take as many medicines as you want. But till you do not have the divine intervention in your life, nothing can be changed. Did you get my point? If you think that things will change because you have taken medication, because you are going to the gym, because you are doing this or you are doing that, doesn't work like that. There is a very beautiful story where the boy's eye is, he's got a problem in his eye. He's losing his eyesight. He goes to Sai Baba. Sai Baba tells him, take the seed of biba, rub it, and take that sticky thing and put it in your eye. Do you know that is the worst thing that a person can do in the normal world? A drop of biba. Do you know what biba produces? Biba is a black color fruit, a seed kind of. It produces permanent black ink. What does it produce? Permanent black ink. When we do the tattoo and all that, you require permanent black ink. That is produced by this biba plant. When you heat the biba seeds, it gives off a very viscous, viscous kind of a black liquid, like tar, kind of a tar. That is used for all those things that you want to put on your face and your hands and all that kind of things. In olden times, that is what was used. Today you may be using artificial ink for all I care. But biba produces that. So Sai Baba says to him, put this thing of biba in your eye. Now that's a dangerous thing to do. But just the faith of that child and his father, they put it and the disease goes away. So now think about it. The disease could have gone away if you would have gone to an eye surgeon. Okay? Agreed? Or the disease could have gone away by some other method. Maybe he becomes with one patch on his eye. We can't say that. So we don't know. So think about it. But without the grace of the Guru or the God, you can't rectify these changes that are there. The Guru can say, okay, eat this. It may be the worst medicine, worst in the material world. If you have a terrible cold, he will give you something, maybe he'll give you an ice cream or something. Eat this, he'll say. And you will wonder what this guy has gone nuts or what. No, that ice cream will cure you because of the faith, not because ice cream is a medicine. So the same way you have to understand Sri Krishna is looking at these five fellows over there, the Pandavas. They have removed their weapons and they are going to fight this Shastra which has been released. How is that possible? It is not possible. Spiritually, you can't even do anything. So what has to be will be. So, when you observe the great danger was befalling his unalloyed devotees, when there is a problem like this, Sri Krishna enters the picture. So he enters the picture and he starts rectifying things. Sometimes these gurus, they look very crazy to you. They sound like some idiot in this world. They will do something which you will not even think of. Suddenly they will say, oh, I want to go meet this person, I want to do this, I want to do that. You really wonder why this, what is the need? But the reason is because they have to do some correction somewhere, which the normal life doesn't correct in their own way. So they have to intervene at many times. So Sri Krishna is telling these people, please, with your weapons you can't do anything. So let us see what he says in the next verse. So we are doing Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 8, verse 14. The Lord of Supreme Mysticism, Shri Krishna, resides within everyone's heart as the Paramatma. As such, just to protect the progeny of Kuru dynasty, he covered the embryo of Uttara by his personal energy. Verse 15. O Shaunaka, although the supreme Brahmastra weapon released by Ashwatthama was irresistible, and without check or counteraction, it was neutralized and foiled when confronted by the strength of Lord Krishna. So this is something which he does. Here is the secret which they have given. I told you, the memory is up there. Do you know that many a times people suffer from Alzheimer's or various other diseases? These diseases come about and then there is a loss of memory. The future itself gets completely covered. All this happens in this material world. That is what, when everything is coming to an end with a person, by the time they are 50, 60 or 70, this kind of clouding starts happening in their life. So, by using various kind of weapons, you can't do anything. Now let us see the genealogy of how this works. Now let us go step by step. Then you will understand what I am saying. Remember, the 5 children are killed. They are the product of your senses. Right or wrong? Good. Then, the next one. The ego has to be destroyed. Cutting off the hair, removing the crown jewel. Second thing happened there. The third thing was the release of the weapon happened simultaneously. 2 weapons were released. One which will destroy the entire race. A person who loses his position in this material world. Think about it. Suppose you lose your position in the material world. You lose an election. You lose an election, or you lose your rank, or you don't get elected, or you don't get selected for whatever that you want to do, or even in your company, you are overridden, somebody else is given promotion. What happens to you? Don't you do something like this only? You want to destroy everything that is there in your sight because it hurts your ego. So Ashwatthama's ego has been completely charred. And the release of the weapon wherein the future generation of that person has to be destroyed. Can you imagine the amount of anger this person must be having in him? I hope you get that. He says, let his future generation get destroyed. I don't want anybody from the future generation to be there also. Think like this. So future generation is dependent on the progeny, that is the children, and the memory also, isn't it? Don't we retain the memory of a person by building one image of his? Think about it. Today I am giving satsangs. I am recording it. Tomorrow YouTube closes down, then what happens? You will get your satsangs somewhere or what? No. So they will be lost. So there is a problem there, isn't it? So in the same manner, Srimad Bhagavatam has been written. So at least we are able to even understand a little bit of it. So retaining that memory is extremely important. So when this other weapon is released by Arjuna, it is trying to neutralize this first weapon, where the entire race of this has to be destroyed. That means entire database has to be destroyed. Not only the physical but the mental as well. That is the memory as well as the children. I hope you are getting that step by step now. But then Krishna is going away. At that time Uttara comes and tells him, see, if this weapon comes and destroys my womb, then what is going to happen? There is no future for this family and this entire generation. How will you know the Srimad Bhagavatam if Parikshit himself is not born? I hope you get the point. So Uttara's understanding is very clear. So she requests Sri Krishna, please come and save my child. And that is why Sri Krishna releases his Sudarshan chakra. So he protects the dynasty, the Kuru dynasty. And with his power, he covers the entire embryo. Now, what does this mean? There is a protective layer raised on the memory as well as the future, so that it doesn't get destroyed. So verse 15, O Shaunaka, although the supreme Brahmastra weapon released by Ashwatthama was irresistible and without check or counteraction, it was neutralized and foiled when confronted with the strength of Lord Krishna. So Sri Krishna's weapon, Sri Krishna's power is able to stave off this next generation's problems that are there. So he puts the seed back into that. See, many a times people have asked me, why don't you teach thousands of people or millions of people? I don't have to. I just need the seed. What have I said? I just need a few people, that's it. I don't want the billions. I don't even want the thousands also. That is all. Just that little bit is more than enough. So, verse 16. O Brahmanas, do not think this to be especially wonderful in the activities of the mysterious and the infallible Sri Krishna. By his own transcendental energy, he maintains and annihilates all material things, although he himself is unborn. So Sri Krishna is always the protector of all the wrong things that are happening in this world. Whenever there is a dharma happening in this world, Sri Krishna will come and protect the future by retaining the seed for the past generations, which is always going to continue till eternity. It doesn't mean that the entire generation will get destroyed. It only means only the good seeds will be kept back. Only the good seeds will be retained, not the ones which are having defects in them. Whatever defects that are there, they will be erased. Those things will be removed. Only one seed is enough, isn't it? Baba Buddha planted only 6 seeds. 6 seeds is all that was required to start a revolution of coffee in India. That is why you can have all South Indian coffee, huh? Degree coffee and all those things, don't you think so? So Sri Krishna is here because he is not only Mahavishnu in one avatar, but he is Shiva also, and he is Brahma also, and he is the Supreme Divine Consciousness, and he is Narayana himself. So he is the one who is everything of everything, and that is the reason why he retains this power, and with his Brahmastra, his own Brahmastra, you know, no? His own Astra. You can't even say Brahmastra because Brahma will is another one. His own Shastras and Astras, he is able to retain that for the future. So verse 17 says, thus saved from the radiation of Brahmastra Kunti, the chaste devotee of the Lord and her 5 sons, and Draupadi addressed Lord Krishna as they started for home. So now we have come to the end where Sri Krishna has saved the child of Kunti. So there is a future assured. So everybody is thanking Sri Krishna for being there, for coming over there, and now he is going back in his car, back to back to Dwarka. So yeah, thank you very much for being there. So Kunti and everybody comes to praise him, and he starts for his home. Alright, so we have come to the end of verse 17. We will stop over here for today, and next week we will continue the next verse onwards.
Recording stopped.